Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahushai, Ba'Shem, Harakah, Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of the great mill son of rule well. Shalom to the brothers doing the work in truth. Got this article on the news. Is bird illness coming to people next? Are we ready? It says, bird illness outbreaks among dairy cows in multiple states, and at least one infection in a farm worker in Texas have incited fears that the V may be the next infectious threat to people. The V, called H5N1, is highly pathogenic, meaning it has the ability to cause severe disease and death. But while its spread among cows was unexpected, people can catch the V only from close contact with infected animals, not from one another, federal officials said. It's really about folks who are in environments where they may be interacting with cattle that are infected with this V, said Dr. Demetri Daskalakis, the director of national security. What's it, NCIR at the CDC. Says what the risk for most people, for most everyone else, is very low. Right now, risk assessment hasn't changed, but it does change. But if it does change, we're going to be pretty quick and transparent. So it's funny this being mentioned because it's actually been an issue from at least last year, I think a year before that as well, where there's been like immense levels of cullings happening, not just in the US, but I know over here as well, because I remember there was like notifications saying that you can't get free range eggs anymore because legally all chickens need to be sealed off and separated so they can't roam out, to slow the infection from back then. As far as over here, I don't think that's still in effect. But yeah, there was a story about the cows, so like a week or so, maybe a few days ago. So now it's getting spoken about. It's funny because I remember there was it swine flu was the one before. That one was getting a push, and now it's it's the bird variant where it's being hyped. And the thing is saying like, oh, the cows thing, because as far as we know who we're dealing with, like these guys can will have access to different strains, and if if these things get let out, well, it's something that can be utilized to to put pressure on people, because that's really what C19 kind of opened up. That whole for your own good, we're locking shit down. That's something it's been set. And the thing is they might not even go the full lockdown, because even without that, people were psychologically destroyed. Like the way they're living in terror of the risk of getting C19 was immense. It's like, and that had people where it's like, oh, if you ain't got your mask on, someone's having a fit if you ain't doing certain things. People be losing it. It said avian flu is often fatal in birds, but none of the infected cows have died so far. The only symptom in the patient in Texas was conjunctivitis or pink eye, which is also reported in people infected during other outbreaks. The CDC and other agencies in the US and somewhere and elsewhere tracked H5N1 for years to monitor its evolution. Federal agencies have stockpiled the max and drugs to be used on a possible outbreak. So it's something that can become a factor, and it's interesting. It's kind of being, because this seems even less. No, it is less of a of even something people need to be aware of than C19. Because as it says, it's, it ain't even meant to be spreading. But then why is it a thing that's been pushed in the mainstream news and in the main push, like for people to be aware of it? Same with swine flu is it can easily be flipped on a dime to be something like, okay, now you need to be wary. And then we know where people being wary of these diseases that can push it forward. So what does it say? We're more ready for a pandemic than probably any other outbreak that could occur. Any other pathogen. Said Rick Bright, the chief executive of Bright Global Health, a consulting company that focuses on improving responses to public health emergencies. Dr. Bright led influenza. Okay, emergencies several years. Says, is a human pandemic inevitable? Which that's the thing is there was what was his name? Bill Gates was pushing the vibration of like, look, another one of these is coming. Next one's coming. What are we gonna do to prepare? And that whole vibration out there just lets you know, these things are gonna be utilized, man. These things are gonna be utilized. So is a human pandemic inevitable? Among birds and animals, the H5N1 bird flu is already a pandemic or a panzootic, with infections observed on every continent except Australia. To date, the virus has not evolved into a form that can spread easily from one person to another, and it may never do so. But now has spread to a wide range of species, from seabirds, small scavengers like foxes, to large mammals. Single time cross species transmission. Yeah. So this is, as much as it's basically highlighted that, like, it's not even, like, especially because it's been years. So I remember hearing about this shit. Was it even when I was on the World Swine Flu? I think was forever ago. I remember the bird one of the world might have been, but it's well over a decade. Actually, maybe not. Feels like it, but maybe not. Or maybe around a little over a decade. But what is, this thing's being pushed out because why? It's, a circumstance. That's the thing is with even these things being reported, people having to think about, like, oh, what's the damn? I need to be wary just in case, or I might have to go and get jump shots and that. I might have to do this, might have to do that. It's to overburden your average Joe So they ain't even, this is gonna be a bit too much as well, and they ain't even gonna really address it. But then when these things come out, it'll be like, whoa, it'll feel justified. Because as far as with it, with these things, like this, this is being pushed out. Meanwhile, you had like an earthquake in New York. Meanwhile, you got the situation with the consulate, I believe it was, in getting demolished. Iran doing meant to do a counter, and then the aid workers getting laced in off the Gaza Strip, and then all these things combining and overlapping and amassing on top of one another. It's gonna overwhelm your average Joe. They ain't gonna engage, and it's gonna start frying people's brains, because people out here don't like thinking about. They don't even like think about their general day to day, how they're gonna pay their bills or some shit. Let alone how they pay their bills or some shit. Let alone general day to day, how they gonna pay their bills. Let alone worrying about like, oh, what's is there strife? What all the other things happen in the world. They it'll be a bit too much. These guys ain't trying to think about all that. So that's the thing as well, that they disengage. Then when as and when things happen, they ain't really paying mind. And as well, a lot of people, they'll only really pay mind to what do you call it? Well, the footy. The weather. If there's gonna be a hurricane or something, not even a hurricane over here, it'll be like gale force winds or whatever over here. They might hear about the guy, what's gonna be called, but they ain't really, they're not keeping an ear to the ground as far as for these different situations, geopolitical situations, these different crises on all around. Those people where it's like C-19, they heard about that, in February or March. Now I remember doing videos before even doing videos before, what do you call it? In November or December, because you're trying to going mad over it, and then they hadn't even gone full force yet. It's kind of funny. But yeah, these things, that's why I'm saying, like, asking, how are we gonna, people are gonna be stressing about these things. But why? It's because the time we're coming into is it's gonna be combined disasters. You're just gonna keep hearing about bad things happening on the news. You dial in your radio, listen to the radio, but you dial in your radio, and then all you ain't gonna be hearing no good news, and that's what that's what people are basically gonna be engaging with. Read this, Deuteronomy 28 and 61. It says, also, every sickness and every plague which is not written in the book. Well, okay, let me start from 60. Deuteronomy 28 and 60. Moreover, he will bring upon thee all the diseases of Egypt which thou wast afraid of, and they shall cleave unto thee. Also every sickness and every plague which is not written in the book of this law, then will the Lord Yahweh bring upon thee until thou be destroyed. So yeah, now we've seen plagues that aren't written of in the book, and lived and experienced through them. And what's being described is another one of them, man. Going at H5N1. That's a plague where, well, it doesn't even seem that significant. But then the significance of as far as for C19 we've seen, like, that doesn't really account to much anyway. These things can still be utilized, man, capitalized on. Until thou be destroyed. Revelation 12:12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that ye have but a short time. And yeah, Satan's got a short time at him, man. These elite, these guys are croaking, man. Like, they're done out. So they're looking to push these things forward, man. Because why? The prophecy, really. And it's really, the Most High on the left hand side pushing these things through. Because why? That's all, it's all within the framework, man. It's all going according to plan. Esau, Edom, essentially trying to put that final capstone on his new world order. Him scheming to bring everything together. Those things are what do you call it? That's all, within parameters. That's all meant to go down, man. Esau's also doing what he's supposed to do, being the wicked, and that, thinking he's gonna, he's basically gonna achieve the fullness of what he desires. He's gonna achieve a certain degree, but not the fullness. And when he's about to fill his belly, then he's gonna get the smackdown. But these guys are intensifying, man. They're pushing these things out. There is really gonna be left to a point where there's no peace gonna be found. They're gonna get you no rest. Because Revelation 3:10 it says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the earth to try them that dwell upon the earth. Yeah. So that hour of temptation is going to come to try everyone. A lot of people are going to be pressured by, these diseases, bad health, whatever. Then treatment can easily be tied to, receiving that micro C-hip. There's various things where it's it seems like it's normal and straightforward to access now. But then, if those things are locked off, there's all kinds of things people will do. Behold, I come quickly. Hold fast that which thou hast, that no man take thy crown. Yeah. So Yahushua is coming quickly. Because why? All these things are signs, like the earthquakes, man. Earthquakes in diverse places. Earthquakes in New York, it's just, not the usual spot. But then what, these things are essentially shining a light, man. Bringing things out of the dark. Yeah. No man take that crown. Yeah. Because you want to receive your reward, man. You got to endure to the end. But yeah, these things, tests, and then, in the hour of temptation, it's going to be intensified to a whole different degree. These things now are getting, at present, it's really light considering where it's going to go. Especially knowing where it's going to go. But yeah, I'll leave it there. Shalom. Shalom. Shalom.